Time now to talk about the big small screen in your front room, maybe in your bedroom. We've got some Freeview film recommendations for the weekend, courtesy of our Friday regular. Forget Man Friday, it's Van Friday. Van Connor joins us once again. Good morning, Van, and how's your week been? What have you been up to, matey?
You know me, Mr. Ross. It's been work, and nothing but movies as always, but I can't complain at that.
Okay, so big new releases around on the big screen. We've got some small screen recommendations, though. 3 from you, 3 from me. Where would you like to start, VC?
Ooh, I think for a good Friday night creature feature, I think that's a good place to start. And I'm gonna go Crocodile for this week. So I've got Alexandra Ayer's 2019 creature feature Crawl, starring Kaya Scodelario and Barry Pepper. This is the one with sort of college age young girl in a flooded basement with a crocodile. If you saw this one advertised,
I did, and it's one of those great kind of claustrophobic, very scary thrash films which doesn't outstay its welcome. You've got a clip for us, I think.
I have. This is daughter arriving to find estranged father trapped in said basement as it's flooding, as the crocodiles are starting to find their way into it. It is just
send its crocodiles then, not just the one croc. Okay, even scarier.
I think there's 2 actually in this one specifically.
So it's film 4, it's 9 o'clock tonight, it's Crawl. Here we go.
Billy! Wait! No, wait! Stop! Wait, don't come down!
Hey! Wait! There's 2 gators down here. Okay, hold on. Don't move, hold on. Come here, Pete. Need your coffee? Pete, you hear that?
I must say, it's a very good jumpy film, this, and they exploit that kind of claustrophobic action in the cellar thing. Great title for it. It's a creature feature called Crawl. It's 9 o'clock tonight, film 4. I've gone for slightly later on BBC One. This is an absolute 80s classic. It's got all the big names in it, including Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, more of them on. Alex Winters in it, of course, who turns up in Bill and Ted, and Jason Patric. It's directed by Joel Schumacher, and normally his films are accused of being style over substance. I don't mind in this case, because it's a very funny film, a great addition to the vampire genre. Van, who doesn't love The Lost Boys?
Oh, The Lost Boys, it's tied with Flatliners for me, for the best Schumacher movie.
What I love about it as well is things like when the kids, basically it's a divorced mum with her 2 children turns up, or 2 boys turns up, and they've got a friend in tow, and they're staying at their granddad's while they get through the divorce financial negotiations. And they get into the house and they look around for the television. And they say to the granddad, where's your TV? He said, I haven't got a TV. He said, we've got the TV guide. And there are wise words here. The granddad says, kids, if you've got the TV guide, you don't need television, but you do need The Lost Boys, which is tonight, BBC One, 10:35, and you've got a cracker for us for tomorrow night on Channel 4 itself, 9 o'clock. It's just had a sequel out, which had some indifferent reviews. This is the original, though. Remind us about, Van, the Hitman's Bodyguard.
I'm not sure if this is not a terrestrial premiere this weekend, but it's Saturday night on Channel 4 at 9 p.m. Stars, of course, Ryan Reynolds, one of my favourite presences in modern cinema, and Samuel L. Jackson as effectively rivals who are forced to team up in a sort of midnight run setup. So he's Ryan Reynolds is the disgraced former AAA rated security bodyguard who is forced to transport a witness who also happens to be the world's most prolific hitman.
Yeah.
And he has to transport him from the UK to The Hague so that he can provide testimony to, in a trial against a European dictator played by a scenery chewing Gary Oldman, who's on trial for war crimes. Of course, he's got his own goons that he sent out to ensure that this won't happen. So it is literally a midnight run, get the witness to the box kind of a setup, with Sam Jackson as just this prolific mass murderer. But of course, you got to play this one for laughs with this cast.
It has got big laughs in it as well. It reminded me, it's almost as if, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were reincarnated in the modern era and made the film like this, because it's a very funny film indeed. It's Channel 4, it's tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. And what clip have you got for us, Van?
I've got the 2 on a bus filled with nuns, because what else are you going to do in Europe?
It's habit forming. Here's the clip.
Go with God. This man's killed over 150 people.
250, easy.
250, easy, no problem. Samuel L. Jackson tonight and tomorrow night rather than Ryan Reynolds. Now, I got first dibs on this one before you chose it. I should say on ITV tomorrow night, 11:05. Before that, you've got Escape to Victory, which is 40 years old this weekend. So you might want to enjoy that if you're not near a radio. Meanwhile, though, 11:05 tomorrow night, perfect Saturday night film. If you're a slightly twisted individual who loves action movies, it's 15 years old now. Still as fresh as the day it was minted. It was a debut feature film for Neville Dine Taylor, Mark Neville Dine and Brian Taylor, who went on to make the sequel, Crank High Voltage, also wrote Jonah Hex and directed Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And it's a Jason Statham film. I could just stop there, couldn't I? Jason Statham.
You really could.
What's not to love? What's not to love? But the setup of this is a fantastic high-concept setup for an action film. Basically, organ harvesters have stolen Jason Statham's heart, replaced it with this weird battery-powered doohickey. He finds somebody who said, I can stick your heart back in if you get it, soon enough, but you might run out of juice. So he's got to basically keep defibrillating himself or electroshocking himself in the chest area to restart his heart to effectively crank it up. It's a great mad film, this, isn't it?
Oh, it is absolutely brilliant. Although I'm gonna correct you on one thing, because you've made the same mistake I always make with this, which is the two films are so similar. You've swapped the plot of number 2 for number 1. So number 2 is the one
voltage, okay.
where they take his strawberry tart. Is this High Voltage? Are we talking about High Voltage?
No, it's Crank.
Specifically?
We're talking about Crank.
So Crank is the one where he's poisoned and he has to keep his adrenaline up.
You're
it's
right.
The sequel where they steal his. Yeah, what does he call it? He calls it his strawberry tart. He keeps going around saying, where's my strawberry tart in the sequel, and he has to keep himself electroshocked. But the first one's poison and adrenaline. Right,
okay, thanks for clearing that up. So that's my big recommendation. It's 11:05. Again, that's what Hitchcock would call the MacGuffin, isn't it? It doesn't, it's important you get it right, and that's why you're here. But actually, it just means basically he's got to keep shocking himself into mad, high-kicking action. So it's a cracker. It's 11:05 tomorrow night on ITV4, right after Escape to Victory. And my next recommendation is, 11 hours and 55 minutes later, 11 o'clock in the morning, but on Film 4, Barry Levinson's film from 1985, also features Corey Haim, who a couple of years later goes on to be one of the vampire hunters in The Lost Boys. It's young Sherlock Holmes, a Spielberg-type production. Barry Levinson, who I love as a director, directed Dine and other great films, directs this. And it's one of those films, I think it slightly slipped under the radar in the mid-80s, because you kind of think, I know there is now a kind of Enola Holmes series, which is very good, with Henry Cavill playing Sherlock Holmes, but actually, this should have spawned a Netflix series of its very own, I think. It's a great old movie, this.
Oh, there'd be a whole franchise in this if you did it today, absolutely. But I think as the legacy of the film is actually cemented now. It's a film that will never be permanently lost from the cinematic memory because of its contributions to visual effects. Because it has the stained glass knight. There's the sequence in which Sherlock fights an ancient knight made out of pieces of stained glass, and I think it's the first fully rendered computer animated character, and the film is properly part of legend because of that. That was really groundbreaking.
And it's quite dark as well, in the way that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was quite kind of human sacrifice dark as well. So that's my recommendation for Sunday morning. Set the alarm for it if you're going to be, or set the record for it if you're going to be having a bit of a lie-in. Meanwhile, you're ending with Sunday night, Film 4, 11:05. I'm guessing this is a spoof comedy. It's called, never heard of it before, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Tell us about this one.
Mr. Ross, I'm about to change your life, sir. So this is one of my favourite ever comedies. Not only that, I think it's the best comedy of the last half decade.
Wow.
This is this generation's This Is Spinal Tap. It is effectively what would happen if you applied the This Is Spinal Tap formula to a sort of homogenization of Justin Bieber and Justin Timberlake, and then had him played by Andy Samberg from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So the shorthand is this is effectively The Lonely Island, the movie. So the comedy troupe The Lonely Island, sort of fictional band who do release comedy records with, big names sort of contributors, they have gotten their own feature film spin-off. It's produced by Judd Apatow. It's directed by two of the guys. I think they take turns writing and directing different bits of it. They've created a whole soundtrack to it. It's a mockumentary style, and it is about it's sort of a Justin Timberlake archetype. He is the boy band member who's gone solo. His second album is released as part of the plot of this movie, and it flops, and it's about him doing whatever it takes to try and hang on to the limelight. As you'll hear in this clip, in which Connor For Real, as he's called, played by
For Real, great.
Yeah, Connor for real, as he's played by Andy Samberg, gets into it with his manager Tim Meadows over just what they can do to boost the numbers of this fledgling tour.
Okay, just to kind of risk a pun, you could say he's Justin Timber-like. Anyway, here's the clip. It's 11:05, Sunday night film 4. It's pop star, never stop, never stopping.
Look, the low record sales is making them nervous. They want to bring on an opening act.
What? We have an opening act, Owen DJ.
Hey, I'm always saying Style Boys could be the opener.
No, man, will you stop with that?
Dude, people keep blowing up my Twitter about us doing Donkey Roll.
Oh, they're blowing up your Twitter?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have, Owen?
Like 500,000.
Okay, well, I got 20 million, and no one's asking me to do that.
Man, some of those are probably bots.
Okay, look, guys. Regardless, we still have to decide on an opening act.
Man. All right, fine. Does anybody have ideas?
One, but you are gonna like it.
Wait, did you say are or aren't?
Are
gonna like it. So that's Sunday night, 11:05, film 4, pop star, never stop, never stopping. Meanwhile, my recommendation for tonight is The Lost Boys, BBC One, 10:35 p.m. It's a great soundtrack album to it, and it's very brave for any band to take on a Doors classic. Echo and the Bunnymen do on this film, and they just about pull it off. Huge thanks to Van Connor. Let's end with a burst of People Are Strange from The Lost Boys.